All right, hi everybody. Today we're going to discuss chapter 5, which is phrases and non-harmonic tones. So, and along with phrases is cadences. So the chapter is called Cadences and Non-Harmonic Tones. So the first important concept to know before we talk about cadences is what a phrase is. So a phrase is commonly described as a musical sentence. All right? So, a common phrase would be something like the beginning of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So, you've got Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Right? So, that first phrase, one phrase is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. That's one phrase. Now, the punctuation at the end of the phrase is often what a cadence is described at. So cadence is the punctuation of a musical sentence or phrase. So imagine if you had the phrase twinkle, twinkle, little star, and that's all you got. Or how I wonder, and that's all you get. So you don't get the what you are, 5-1. That's your cadence. That's your ending. That's your punctuation. So that's basically the whole idea of what a phrase and a cadence are. So the cadence is a series, and there are several cadences that you guys need to be aware of. All right, there are 4 big ones, and then there are some slight variations on those big ones. But really what I'm concerned with is you guys knowing the big cadences. Pardon me, I'm coming down with something. Okay, so among cadences, number 1 is the PAC, otherwise known as perfect authentic cadence. Okay, so a good example, perfect authentic cadence is always going to end in 5-1. So it goes 5 to 1. Now there is a slightly different variation on that called an imperfect authentic cadence. And the imperfect authentic cadence is just a little bit weaker than a perfect authentic cadence. So there are some very specific things. So when you see a perfect authentic cadence, knock this out of the way. An example would be, and this of course would be at the end of a phrase. Let's see. All right, so here is our first perfect authentic cadence. So we're in the key of E flat major. All right, so we have to analyze this first of all, right? So we come up with, we can do this. Oops, other way. so we've got our analysis going, right? So we've got a D, we've got an F, we've got a B. So B, we've got our D, we've got our F, and then our bottom note is a B, right? So that's going to give us, that's going to be our tonic triad, which B major, or B major triad, or B flat major triad is going to be the fifth note in an E flat major scale. So we're going to put this as Roman numeral 5, right? And then when we analyze this guy, we get G. So here's our G, our E flat. We've got a B up here still, so put our B up there. And then our bottom note right here is E, or E flat, I should say. So E, G, B flat, right? So that's going to be a big fat 1 chord. So this is a perfect authentic cadence. And when you play it, I'll play it for you real quick on the piano. All right, so it's going to sound like this. Or 5, 1. So that's our perfect authentic cadence. Sorry, I'm back. All right, now, if we change some of these tones, it becomes an imperfect authentic cadence. So, if the highest sounding note in the tonic triad, so this triad, if it's anything other than an E flat, so if we change this E flat to be something else, like a B flat, right? Or if we change it to be maybe up to G like that, so we double that octave, then that turns into an imperfect authentic cadence. So the final tonic note, right, the final period on the end of the sentence, that soprano note has to be the same. So the bass and the soprano are doubled. If it goes from, instead of 5, if you substitute it with a 7 chord, so if you do 7, 1, like that, then that will be an imperfect authentic cadence. Or if you have any inversion in either of these chords, it suddenly becomes an imperfect authentic cadence. So if you instead have a 5, 6 here to 1, right? So this suddenly gets switched out to like an F, something like that, right? Then that's an imperfect authentic cadence. If we do the same, so this B flat comes back, and this suddenly becomes an inversion, something like that, then this becomes an imperfect authentic cadence. So that's the other kind of cadence you need to be aware of. And that's just sort of a variation on the authentic cadence. Now the other style of cadence that you need to know, let me go get my darker pen back, is the half cadence. So a half cadence is basically shorthand for anything that ends on a 5. So PAC, we're going to keep a little tally up here. Generally is going to be a 5 or a 5, 7, 1 to 1. All right? Our half cadence is going to be anything to 5. So it could be 4 to 5. It could be 2 to 5. It could be 1 to 5. So it could be any of these things, as long as the phrase ends on a dominant. All right, can you guys see that? Is that a little better? Might be a little bit easier to see. So, for example, and these are all in your book on page 98 and 99. So a good example of a half cadence would be so we're still in the key of E flat. So here we've got our chords all lined up. All right, so here we're in the key of E flat. So we've got an E flat, a G, E flat, B. So this is our triad, E flat, G, B flat. So we've got an E flat major chord. We're in the key of E flat, so this is going to be a 1 chord. And then over here, we get the 5. So, because obviously I'm teaching about half cadences right now, and all half cadences end on a 5 chord. So, we have our F, D, right? B flat, D, F, right? B flat on the bottom, so this is going to be a 5 chord, B flat major chord, all right? And if I run over and play it on the piano, you can hear what it sounds like. So we have 1, 5 instead of 5, 1. So you can hear it. So it goes 1, 5. So you go from 1 to 5.